Hi bookish friends! Welcome back to another episode of Read and Ready. This is a series where we can get ready together and we can have a bookish chat, whether it's a discussion, maybe sharing my actual reading journey, some reviews, some theories, or anything in between. And if you're new here, hi, welcome. I'm Em from Get Lost with Em, and I like making videos just sharing about my reading journey, what I've been reading, some reviews, or even some current discussion around the bookish community. And this will be a follow-up video about reading slump and reading burned out. So if you haven't watched the previous video, please consider watching it first so that this video will make much more sense. In the first video, we talked about why a lot of people are getting burnt out from reading and getting into reading slump, and also why book buying is becoming the new fast fashion. But today, if you are feeling burnt out or you are feeling like you're in a reading slump, we're gonna help you to get out of that. I'm sharing my personal journey as well as someone who went through such a long reading slump, like more than a year. And yeah, this video will be on how to get out of a reading slump that you may accidentally have caused yourself. But first, since we're gonna get ready together, or if you just wanna listen, consider getting a snack, do some chores, put on your headphones, or even get a fun drink. But if you want to get ready with me, let's get ready together. So first thing first, again, you watch any of my videos, I have been loving the sprays. I always spray my face the first thing. This is the Sukin Original Hydrating Mist Toner in Chamomile and Rose, and this is paraben and alcohol free. I don't have any problem with alcohol or paraben, I'm just like literally reading it. But I feel like this has been quite nice on my skin. So because I know a lot of people are, doing partnership and promoting certain brands, I'm not promoting anything. I'm not being paid. Everything I bought with my own money, and I'm just sharing my products that I like and that works for me. If you have similar type like me, I'm very oily in my T-zone, so combination, but very sensitive as well. This might be products that you can try. So this video will not be your typical way of how to get out of reading slump. Like I know some people would recommend reading a shorter book or even just going through different reviews and trying to find your new favorite. But this is gonna focus more on the root of the cause of why you got into reading slump and why you are buying books like it's going out of style. There's one key takeaway that you need to remember going into this video is that you're getting into this burnout, you're in a reading slump, not because you hate reading, but because you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling overstimulated, and you feel like your TBR, especially your physical TBR, is silently judging you. Let's break it down why you actually got into this reading slump. There might be an overwhelming number of books to choose from. And it could be your physical TBR or even your digital TBR that you have a list from. These days, we feel like we have so many different choices. There is constantly new books being pumped out, new books being published. So we do feel overwhelmed by the sheer amount of choices that are available. There's the pressure of loving hype books. I did talk that again on the first video, so if you haven't watched, please watch that first. But you feel like there's this pressure to love the books that everyone is loving. Like if you're not loving it, then maybe you just don't understand it. Maybe your taste isn't that good. I know that, for example, with catabasis, I know it's like very dark academia and it uses a lot of big words. And there are like two different categories right now. There are people who love it, who think it's like life-changing. And then there's like people who like, this feels boring, I don't get this. And some people are judging the second category who don't really like the book. It's saying like, oh, you're not smart enough to understand. You just don't get it. But again, reading is a personal journey. Taste is very personal and very subjective. Whether you like a book or not doesn't necessarily mean you have good or bad taste. Taste is just taste and everyone is very different. Let's put on a serum. I'm using Neutrogena Hydro Boost. This is a hyaluronic acid serum. It's very straightforward, but it does have little beads in them. I can't really show that beads though. But if I can find a photo online, I'll show you guys what I mean, because there's like micro beads of like white and blue that apparently have the hyaluronic acid and it burst. I have this theory that people love books because they can connect to the characters and they can connect to the stories. So for example, if you are going through a phase in your life where you feel a lot of changes, then a story where the main character has a lot of changes going on with their life and how they're navigating it and how they're dealing with it, you might love that book because you get to relate so much to the character. You get to feel like you're represented. Whereas someone who never experienced that might just see a book as a book. They can't relate to the character the way you can. And for example, I've been using this example a lot, like the 7-Year Slip. If you've ever experienced grief in any way, I feel like you would love that book. The writing style is very fun. The depiction of grief is very well written. Never feel bad for not liking a book that everyone likes. You hear about performative reading a lot, and that's the sense of how reading have to be aesthetic, it has to be very cozy, it has to be very well documented in a way, and it has to be optimized. And I feel like that is why reading starts to feel like a chore now. Not just a hobby, not just an escape, but more of a chore, more of something else that you need to do. Another responsibility. And perhaps you haven't found that just for fun books in ages. A book that you might never heard of, that you just go to a library or you go to a local bookstore and you just picked it up just because you like it, just because the summary is great, just because the cover calls to you. Not saying that you should judge a book by its cover or you should buy a book by its cover alone, but sometimes, hey, just for the fun of it, pick up a book that you necessarily wouldn't think that you would pick up. Pick up a book that might not be viral, that might not be very aesthetic, or perhaps that no one ever heard of. It's okay. Be different. Perhaps that's where you find your joy of reading again. And perhaps you're also waiting for that perfect time to read, and then you never start. Again, reading doesn't have to be aesthetic. Reading doesn't have to be this gigantic performance. You don't have to have a reading nook. You don't have to have this like little section where you read. You don't need a designated reading sofa. Start with anything. Start with that book on your shelves. Start going to the library. Hey, start reading on your Kindle, on your tablet, on your phone. Anything that gets you reading is a good thing, and any way that you can find, again, is a good thing. Just start reading. It doesn't have to be grand. It's supposed to be personal. It's supposed to be a journey, and it's supposed to be messy. I use receipt. I use just random paper to use up as a bookmark. If I find a cute bookmark, yes, I'll buy it, but the chances are those bookmarks just go missing very quickly because I don't know where I put it or I dropped it. Utilize whatever you can. Just start reading again. Now, let's get into how to actually fix it. And this is not gonna be an aesthetic advice. We're just gonna get real. Pick a book for you, not for the crowd. Stop picking books based on trends. Stop picking the books that are on everyone's review. Stop picking the books that's going viral on BookTok right now. Pick a book that speaks to you. Pick a book that calls you. Pick a book that once you read the back summary, you're instantly like, I want to read that. That seems interesting to me. Pick a book that's you and that gets you excited. Again, this is not groundbreaking. Reread your comfort read or your god tier book, something that you gave 5, 6 stars for. Sometimes your brain just needs the familiarity to reset, to find the joy again, to feel like, yes, I love reading. Next, maybe create a micro habit. Start with reading 5-10 pages a day. Nothing more than that. Yes, you will want to read more, especially if it's a good chapter. This will trick your brain into thinking of a routine, of you wanting to read again and read again. Micro habits removes all the pressure, removes all that burden that you're feeling. It's building your momentum to want to keep reading, to read again and again and do it every day. In the beginning, we talk about how so many choices leads to decision fatigue. So let's restart your TBR. Start writing down what 3 books you're most excited to read and start from there. No more than 3. Start very small so it doesn't feel overwhelming, and perhaps put the books that were on your previous TBR pile into a not now pile. Not a DNF, so no shame in that, but just focus on the 3 that you're most excited about, and we will start from there. This is very important and I want you to listen, but please stop buying the books now. Buying doesn't mean reading, and it's a sort of escapism that won't cure your reading slump. Stop buying the books until your spark returns. This will again make it not as overwhelming, not as cluttering, not something that you feel burdened about. So yes, we're going on a book buying ban. Now let's build that habit. Let's put your brain into wanting to read. So instead of doing reading, maybe we can do reading adjacent things. Maybe we can listen to some BookTok bookish podcasts. Maybe go watch some of those reading or cozy reading vlogs. Maybe start organizing your shelves, or maybe start annotating your book that you've already read. Again, with that rereading. It brings you back into the reading world, but without as much pressure. Even if these tips are not working for you, it's okay. And just like everything else in the world that we can feel like we're burned out from work, from even our family, even our friendship, it's okay. It's completely normal. You can revisit the tips, the video in a few months' time if you feel like you're ready. I feel like I want to remind you that you're not failing as a reader. There's no failing as a reader. It's a hobby. It's supposed to bring you joy. If it's not, then put it down. It's okay to revisit in a few months. And as a reminder, reading is supposed to feel joy. It's supposed to be low pressure. It's supposed to be slow and personal and messy. And again, it's supposed to bring you happiness. I think we covered everything. And I feel like I have said all that I want to say in terms of all the tips that I can give you. If you want to fix your burnout, fix your relationship with reading, not your TBR, not more books, and definitely not more book hauls. Now, let me get into my personal reading journey and how I actually got out of it. I didn't follow every one of these tips because again, every person is different, and I'm giving all the tips in a broader term that I hope will be able to work with a lot of different people, different circumstances. For me, I've been going back into BookTok. I've been reading, been watching people reviews and watching YouTube vlogs of people just reading. I still follow a lot of like my favorite BookTokers. I occasionally still see some Bookstagram account that I love. Then I dipped my toes. I dip my toes into reading by reading 5-10 pages a day. And I found a joy in Alchemy of Secrets because it's an author that I love, it's a genre that I love, it's a fantasy and a mystery. Again, I set those micro goals of just reading 5-10 chapters a day, and once I feel like it's not enough, I start reading 1 chapter a day. I still didn't like go through everything at once. I ended up reading it for about 10 days, give or take. So it was pacing myself and trying to build the emotional connection and trying to not look at all the clutter, not look at all the trends, not look at how people are reading so fast, because that's what burned me out the first time. And it's also just shutting off my head from all the people that make me feel guilty, that I'm not reading 20 books a month. And it's okay to unfollow people. It's okay to click off a video if it makes you feel more guilty. I also did read-alongs daily so that I get to process my thoughts. I get to articulate my thoughts and understand what I'm reading better. And I feel like that worked out pretty good for me. I'm not saying that if you are just getting back to reading to open a BookTok account, a Bookstagram account, a BookTube account, because that's gonna add you stress. Maybe finding a way to keep you accountable, maybe telling your friend that you want to read every day, maybe telling your sister or your sibling that you want to start reading and have them ask you about it would be a good substitution if you don't want to post. Or even you can video yourself talking about the book. You don't have to post it. It could just be for you. I guess that's additional tips that you can try. Go for authors that you know you love. Go for genres that you know you love if you don't want to feel like you're rereading book. There are some books that I reread every year as well, and I keep falling in love with the book, and I feel like that's a good idea. I definitely want to reread like The 7 Year Slip And sometimes rereading and you get a different perspective, you find out different things that you never found out before, and you can jump down another rabbit hole. Counted, it's 17 months. During those 17 months, in the beginning, I completely shut off. I didn't look at BookTok anymore. I didn't look at anything close to reading. And then slowly I went back to different bookstores just to browse, just to see. I didn't pick up anything. Just wanted to see what was out there, what books my favorite authors are coming up with. And it's like dipping the toe. If reading and concentrating is hard, perhaps audiobooks works as well. I think audiobooks are reading. I don't think it's like a different form or it doesn't count or whatever. And it's a good trick to have if you're doing long commute, if you are doing errands, or you have chores that you have to do. So audiobook could be a great way to dip your toes in as well. Now, if you watched the first video and this video until the end, please tell me if you are in a reading slump. What do you think actually got you into the reading slump? And I might do a follow-up video on this, just like reading what got people into reading slump. I feel like that could be fun, but let's see if there are even anyone responding. Let's connect, let's have a discussion. And if you did overcome reading slump, maybe you can also include some tips for other friends down below, and we can help the community get out of this like burnt out reading slump that everyone seems to be in right now. And yeah, that's it for today's video. Let's connect in all the socials. I'm always Get Lost with M, like everywhere is the same handle. And I hope to see you guys in a future video. I will see you guys next time. Bye.